Hello, everyone, and welcome to ATVG Studios. Today, Katie and I are going to do something relatively new. I think we've done this one time before, but we kind of stumbled into it. We're currently calling it I Said What I Said. We'll see if it stays with that name. We're testing things out. But we wanted to discuss a show that seems to be of the moment and that we both watched. And the show we are going to discuss is The Pit on Max, which just finished its second season. And
Yep.
I don't watch these things, but I understand from the bits and pieces I saw flying on my social media that it also won a number of Emmy Awards. I had seen first season and then had a bit of a break, though I didn't catch first season at the very beginning. I had seen, I think, most of first season. I know I caught the tail end of first season because it became my mom's favorite show, and she was very disappointed after we went through where you could watch one after another, and we had to wait a week. And so when the second season started, she would be like, "Okay, play the next one," and I'm like, "Can't, Mom. We can't watch for a week."
You couldn't binge it.
No,
Oh.
could not binge it. But you watched it differently.
Yes, because I watched it specifically so we could do this review podcast. And so I watched season 1 and 2 more or less binging over a 2-week period. Yes.
And while she was doing that, I went back to watch season 1 because I could sort of remember it, but I couldn't remember it exactly. And what was amazing, and I'm just, like, so often we don't talk about the benefits of aging, but when I was younger, I could not rewatch stuff because I could remember in detail what had happened. And so rewatching it was so boring. And half the time I could guess what was going to happen before it happened. So even more so. But now I remembered a few key moments, and more towards the tail end. I did not remember everything. So I actually enjoyed watching it a second time. And my mom, who's older, was like, "Did I see this? I don't think Granted, this is her favorite show." She's like, "I didn't see this video." I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, we were here together. We watched it together."
It is the joys of aging. Yes.
Yes,
My mother's the same.
I think we need to talk sometimes about the joys of aging. And one of
Yes.
them is you can reread a book as if it's the first time, but maybe you know that you liked it. You can rewatch a show as if it's the first time.
Yep.
And somebody can tell you liked it.
Yep.
So let's discuss some of the joys of aging along with it. So The Pit.
So I had a hard time getting into it in season 1. It took me a few episodes. I mean, it wasn't annoying enough for me to turn off, but I wasn't engaged with the characters. Probably for the first 3 episodes of season 1. Then it sort of slowly started getting a little bit more interesting, and I don't really know why this is the case. But by the time it was the end of season 1, I was fully engaged with the characters. And by the way, my favorite character is Dr. King, Mel. Oh my God,
Mel.
I love her. I love her. She is just the cutest thing. She reminds me of that movie, it's like a cartoon Pixar movie with the emotions and the girl. I don't know the name of it, but she reminds me of one of the emotion characters. Oh, maybe
Joy?
the sad one. The sad one.
Oh, really? The sad one?
Well,
Oh.
just the way she talks. And then I didn't realize I saw a brief interview, I guess because they're all out doing the press stuff.
Yeah.
She is the daughter of Bryan Cranston. He's an actor. He was on some show. I don't know what is the show,
Breaking
but
Bad. He was on Breaking Bad, and before that, he was on Malcolm in the Middle. And he was
because
in
he looks familiar.
he
Yeah.
was in Okay, do you remember the Folgers in your cup, but kind of sexy commercials? He was one of the guys in those commercials.
No.
Waking up with Folgers in your cup. Before, I believe he was before you ended up with the guy who played Giles on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who was another one
Okay.
of those guys.
Yes, I remember Giles.
Hmm,
I mean,
yeah.
she's terrific. She is my favorite. Who's your favorite?
I vacillate. Right now, when you
Mhm.
ask me that question, I would say Dana, the charge nurse.
Oh, yeah, I like her.
I also just relate to her, I think, in a number of ways. Um, just in that sense of probably knowing more of what's going on with people than they know themselves, and
Mhm.
also of people wanting you to be involved in things that you really don't want to be part of, and concern, like the mothering concern that she has for
Mm.
so many of them. But there are other moments where Santos is my favorite because she does and says things that I would never in a
Yeah.
million years do or say, but I admire her
Mm.
for doing it, for just being out there. Even though I also recognize the fact that there are things that she does that are mean.
Yeah.
Like she's
She's
just
pretty abrasive. Like, at the beginning, I was like, "I don't like this girl," but then I kind of she grows on you.
she's like a prickly pear. I think she's
Yeah.
soft and
Yeah.
gooey on the inside, but the
Yeah.
outside is prickly, prickly, prickly,
Yeah.
prickly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have 2 moments with Santos that I really loved. One of my favorites was I love, love, love this show. I know that there's another show that's on right now. I think it's called Saint Denis. It's another hospital show. I don't know what channel it's on, but it has
Mm.
what they call the Filipino nurse. I don't know if it's nurses essentially, but medical staff mafia. They call it the Filipino mafia. But for me, I don't watch that other show. I just know that it exists. Um, Seeing the nurses on the Filipina nurses on the pit was like the most real life thing. Maybe it was just how many years I lived in New York, but I never walked into a doctor's office without there being at least one, if not more, but at least one Filipino working there. Never walked into a hospital without there being Filipinos working there. Like, so to see all these medical shows, and again, they don't all take place in New York. I get that. But without them, always kind of, I think subconsciously boggled my mind because I can't say that I consciously noticed it, but seeing them was just like one of the pieces that made the pit for me like oh, wow, this is a cool thing. This is fun to
Mm.
watch. And I love the fact that they speak to each other in Tagalog.
Mhm.
So one of my favorite Santos moments is when season 1 is her first day. It may
Yep.
last 15 hours, but it's her first day. So these nurses don't know her. And I feel like there was a scene maybe I didn't see them talking about it, but where Perla and Princess must have discussed Santos because um I think it's Princess who says, "I told you she was Filipino," because Santos
Yeah.
actually responds to them in Tagalog,
Yep.
letting them know that though they were not discussing her in that moment, she understood what they were saying. And I think it's Princess who says to Perla, "I told you she was Filipino." And Perla's like, "But she's so white."
Yep.
And like, it was I remember, and I actually remember that scene from the first time I watched it and enjoyed it even more the second time I watched it. Because they were discussing, I think, Robbie at the time, and I
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yep.
didn't I don't think I clocked that as consciously the first time, but the second time, I distinctly remember that scene and I loved it. I just love that
Mm.
she didn't make a deal out of it because Santos makes a deal out of a lot of things. She didn't like go, "Hey, look at me." She just said a few words to them and walked away.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that was
So
pretty funny because I was also like, "But she is so white." So, I agreed
the
with
actress is
the other
Filipina.
one. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying she's not, I'm just saying
No,
she
but she's
is very white.
well,
So you
she's
don't think about it, that she
the
would
new
be
term I've heard
speaking
is
it.
she's Asian, like you.
Yeah, I don't
You don't like the term?
I don't it's not like I don't like it, I don't understand it, and I don't know why.
You
Because
need
I
a
only
white
saw it on social media and,
it may be a term that
nonsense
the
term.
Gen Zers developed, I don't know. I thought it sounded funny and liked it, but her if I remember correctly, her dad is a Great White Way, um, singer and actor. I
Are
think
you s
more s
Is this real life or
real
character? Oh,
life,
okay.
real life, and he is Filipino, and her
Oh,
mom,
okay, alright.
I believe, is a Brit,
Oh,
I
she's
believe.
half.
Yeah, so she's half. So there's a
Got it.
reason that she looks,
Got it.
like though I know there are full Filipinos who could look that way. Just saying that for her, the
Yes, there
actress,
are. Yep, yep.
um, just saying that the actress herself is half.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Hmm.
grew up I saw her in an interview, and she had grown up with, like, oh, I know, it was an interview, and they were asking her something about because she was given the chance to sing, I think in season 2. She does, like, a lullaby to the baby.
Yeah, yes, she's a good singer.
She is. Well,
Yeah.
was recently on Broadway, um,
Oh.
and she's been on Broadway before. In fact, a lot of the actors in the pit are theater people, and I think
Mm.
I don't know, I saw something where I think it was a producer, it might have been a director, but they were talking about part of the reason that so many of them were theater people is they needed people who could go into the same day over and over again and act it, because they have to go up on stage and do the same thing over and over again, unlike some TV actors who don't necessarily have that experience,
Hmm.
or even movie
Okay.
actors. Not saying they don't ever do that, just saying that it's not my understanding is it's not as integral a part of their regular
Mm. Okay.
experience.
I mean, I
So,
think that idea of the 1 hour as an episode as 1 hour of their day is brilliant. It's a really good idea.
yeah,
Yeah, I like it.
and at the same time, it's kinda surreal because you get to the end of
Mm.
a season and you're like, "That was just one
Yeah,
day."
exactly. It's like, I'm exhausted.
Right? I'm like but I th and I think that that speaks to I'm gonna come back to that. Uh, I was gonna speak to themes, but I kinda just wanna speak to the fun stuff first. Um, and fun stuff, I just mean, like, what storylines we like, the actors, I think there's a number of themes that the pit brings up that we can discuss, but the other thing that was interesting is, you know how our phones listen to us?
Mhm.
I actually hadn't been seeing a whole lot on the pit, even though I'd been watching it, until around the time you and I first discussed it. And then all of a sudden, my feeds
I know
have
my feed has got a lot of pit stuff now, all of a sudden.
yeah, my feed was full of pit stuff. Um, did you, by any chance I'm thinking not, check out, like, the, podcast?
No.
Yeah, I was very annoyed by it, so that's a discussion for another day. I don't
Why?
I don't know exactly, I was trying to figure out what annoyed me about it. They're perfectly nice, one of the guys is a doctor, I love the fact that they're people of color, but the one thing that I settled on was it felt okay, so the pit is supposed to be in Pittsburgh, so East Coast. It's part of what I think I really like about it. Um, but the podcast to me comes across as very LA. And in
So what
general,
what is the podcast? Is it them? The
it's the
characters?
Pit podcast. So it is 2 people who interview people who work on the show. So sometimes it's not
Oh,
I
okay.
think they interview like I did see one where they interviewed the actresses that play Princess and Perla. who I'm
Oh,
sorry I
okay, yeah.
can't remember their names, but I loved seeing that, and, they also interviewed, like, the cinematographer.
Mm,
I didn't
mhm,
watch that whole thing, but they also interviewed, I think, somebody who did part of the special effects people.
mhm,
That part of stuff was interesting to me. Um, there's just a very LA vibe to it that I guess I find annoying.
mm,
I don't know. They talk too slow,
hmm, okay.
maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I have to say the special effects are pretty I mean, I was a little bit surprised because 'cause you're seeing, like, naked people, but then I realized it's not TV, like, ER was, TV, wasn't it?
NBC.
So yeah, so which I'd never really watched that, but you see more on this because it's not network.
It's what we would have called cable back in the day.
Mhm.
It's not considered regular TV, though now it has commercials,
It's quite
unless they
gory
actually
though, some of it, like the
yeah.
ooh.
Yeah. Some of it is, and yeah, they do show how a lot of it is, like, they'll make copies of people's bodies kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and they showed how, like, uh, a puddle of blood on the floor is actually, like, a thing that they could just pick up.
Oh, really? Oh.
Not all of them, but in one
Yeah.
particular scene, they were showing it. But this was one of the things that I did notice when I went back to watch that, because I found myself liking season 1 better than season 2.
Mm.
And I know a few components of that, but one of them, which I was somewhat surprised by, was that when I went back to watch season 1, I was like, "Oh my god. I feel like I see or hear and at least hear about more of the staff that work in the hospital, not the medical staff, but the other people." Like, in season 1, the people who were cleaning were very visible. In
Mm.
fact, there were even speaking parts for some of those folks. I'm not saying season 2 didn't have any of that, but I don't recall noting it, and I really noticed it in season 1. Like, there's one point where Robbie that's the emergency thing is happening, and Robbie the woman who, I guess is in charge of the cleaning folks, comes up and asks Robbie if he needs anything, and, he's like, "No, your team is doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for all the work that you do." And earlier in the day, there'd been the gentleman who had dementia, but he, like, escapes to the hospital. He had
Mhm.
retired years before, and he escapes back to the hospital and cleans, and they're like, "You just let him?" It's like, "Well, like, he's happy, his family gets a break, why not?" Like, let him clean, So, and both of those individuals actually spoke to people, and I it was one of the things that I liked, that I really liked about
Hmm.
season.
I found season 2 a little bit very heavy on Robbie's descent. A little bit super heavy. Um, I mean, he was struggling season 1, but this was his descent, right, into the pit, so to speak, if I may use that pun. Um, I mean, that's a whole 'nother theme, isn't it? And I thought it was I I mean, it's sad about the burnout, but I was very happy to see it as well because we had just done the caregiver podcast. So I was like, "Yes, yes."
And
So, yeah.
it is, I think in one of the it's not the podcast, it's like an extra, like, bonus kind of thing.
Mm,
I believe, or it might have been at the end of one of those episodes, they talk about the significant burnout rate.
mm,
And for these folks who are so dedicated to get to the point where they could actually tell somebody asking them a question that they are burnt out, I can only imagine how far they've
yeah.
gotten. And there was a lot of research done after COVID because
Mhm.
those folks are so on the front lines, and I think they try
Yes.
to
Yeah.
show us some of that, um, especially season 1. Um,
Yes. Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
season 2 is trying to show here's what happens when you don't get help. Because even in
Yes.
season 1, you have the juxtaposition between Abbott, who, because he's got the
Oh,
military and
hello,
he's
Dr. Abbott.
PTSD and stuff like that, he's getting help. He's got a regular
Yes.
therapist.
And yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you have Robbie, who's not making any inroads to get any help and is slowly devolving into a bit of an ass in some ways. But I will say, so this was the other thing that I really noticed is in season 1, you had Gloria, who was kind of the head of the hospital. And I
Yes.
was like, I love that we had an African American woman representation, but I think that is where you needed Abbott or Robbie.
Mm.
Because I'm like, why do we have 2 white men representing in an inner city hospital the heads of the emergency unit? I'm like, you are much more likely to have a white man as the head of the board, I think. I could be wrong. They tend to head
I
up
don't
everything
know.
in this country. But I was like, why do we have 2 of them? Because there's lots of diversity, but not in the heads of, like, the shifts. So Abbott heads up the night shift, and Robbie heads up the day shift because they work 12-hour shifts.
But I wonder if that is representative statistically of ER doctors. Like maybe they did research behind that and the heads of the ER. I can see a hospital putting in managerial positions more diverse, because that is, they need to report up to further up, right? The owners of the hospital. So they need to look a certain way, not fill quotas, but they need to be representative more rather than I, s- you know, I know there's minorities and diversity and women in the medical profession, but I wonder, I suspect it's still white male dominated. And maybe I don't know, statistically maybe they tend to be heads of ED, ED,
And I
ER.
don't know either.
I don't know.
I know that
I don't know. Mm.
I looked at mental health professionals, and when you look at psychiatrists, they are the least diverse out of all of the, and
Oh.
the most diversity you see in any of the medical professions are social workers. They have the
Mm.
highest level of, diversity out of all of the professions that might get classed under medical in any way, shape, or form.
I
Um,
just think medical is would still be white male.
higher
I think so. I don't think it would change that quickly. I
and
could be
you
wrong.
very well could be right. I mean, essentially, Abbott and Robbie are roughly our age.
Yes.
Rough, you're probably talking late 40s, early 50s.
Yep.
Um, kind of, so they're Gen Xers. They're, um, yeah. So yeah, has
That's
been
an
our role.
interest. That would be an interesting research.
Yes, yes, it is. But
I'm
it also makes
curious.
me think of the fact that we have Ellis on the night shift, Dr. Ellis, who's a resident.
Which
She's
one
the
is
African
he?
American resident, who you s I think you see her a bit more in
Season
season 1.
2. Oh,
No,
season
season 1.
1?
You see her quite a bit in season 2 too, but again, she's night shift, she's not day shift.
Yeah, she works with the Abbott team, right? There's like an
Right.
Asian guy,
Yep.
and then there's a black lady. I like
Ye
her
Yes, I
because
loved
she's
Ellis.
very like no nonsense. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
and
say things.
she
Yeah.
clocks the Santos-Langdon divide
Yes.
very
Yeah.
well. Like,
I
just
liked
walks
her.
into it and she's like, "Oh, there's something up."
Yeah.
But it also made me miss on the day shift, we end up without an African American doctor, and because Collins doesn't come back for season 2.
Yeah. I liked her.
And I could see so many reasons that she might not. Like, I know they set I mean, there's the fact that she lost her pregnancy, there's the fact but I also one of the things that I recall is there's the mother who comes in with her son and literally asked Dr. Collins, "How do we have it so that you can be our doctor?" And she's like,
That's right. Yep.
"I
Yep.
focus on
Yep.
emergency medicine. There
Yep.
is I'm not in." And she's like, "Well, please, if or when you go into private practice, please make sure that there's some way that we can," kind of thing. And so I could see maybe that was our setup to Collins went to private practice. She does have, people who would seek her out. She could have it, and she might have a different life that would allow her less stress, have her
That's why
baby.
she moved to Oregon because she adopted. So she
Sure.
needed to be near family.
Yes. But I was sad that she wasn't there. Like, even if she'd just come in to visit for the day. It's 4th of
Why?
July, she could be back for a visit, get sucked into the madness. It's only one
I
day.
have to say, I did like her and Robbie in season 1 because I was trying to figure out what's going on with those 2, but it's not clear. Um, but I enjoyed that storyline through season 1 to the end of it.
I loved the hypothetical that pretty much let us know that she terminated
Yes. Yep.
and especially in season 2, when you see how much Robbie thought he would be married with a couple kids,
Mhm. Yeah, he said
and
that a few times. Yeah.
none of that. And I'm wondering if that too was like, she asked him, "Do you think he would forgive her?" And he says yes, but I still think
I
it
think
has
it
an
was
impact.
hard for him. I think it was still very, very difficult, but
Yeah,
she was quite distraught, and so he
yeah.
can't be like, "No."
Well, and I
So,
think he's also a medical professional who truly understands the concept of it's her body. He couldn't have carried the baby. It wasn't like she could say, "Here," and give it to him, like, I think he viscerally gets to see how difficult
yeah.
that is, so if she's not ready,
I
it
also think his first instinct is to make sure the patient or the other person is okay. So everything he does is always patient focused. Um, and so talking to her, even though she's not his patient, I still think his first thought was like stabilize her, like
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
emotionally and mentally. And him having like a fit in front of her is not going to help the situation. And
and
it's
the other
over anyway.
it's not gonna change anything now, but, I
No.
mean, he is the attending. Well, she's a
Hmm.
resident. He is the attending, like
Yeah, he's her boss, really. He's got to make sure she's okay. What do you think of that new attending, the lady, season 2? Al
How
something.
Hashimi?
Something
Oh,
like that.
um, I was really fascinated. I actually really liked that they brought her in. It was actually having seen her soon to be one of the heads of the day shift that
Mhm.
made me really notice that in season 1, you had 2 guys as the heads of day and night shift.
Mm.
So that was one thing. I think that it was interesting that both her and Robbie are having issues that deal with the head, but in different ways.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Yes.
Like, he's calling her to task
Mhm.
for not disclosing,
Yeah, you're
but
right.
everybody has been commenting on the fact that Robbie needs help, and he's not disclosing.
You're right, because she has those, seizures, right?
Mhm.
That's evidently been under control until that small incident. So he was telling her, "You're not fit to run." But then it's like, you're not fit either, really. Look at you. You're a disaster zone." You're right. That's interesting.
Mhm. And I don't know that I necessarily consciously thought that while I was watching,
Mm, mm,
but it was one of the things that I found interesting. Um, I also again, I saw an interview with her, and there's a scene that's
mm.
cut where when she stops the car,
Yeah.
um, so that's all we get to see on season 2,
Yes.
but the actress was talking about there's a scene that she did where she calls her ex-husband, and
Oh.
she's crying, but she's trying not to let him know she's crying, and she asks him if he can, I don't know if it's keep their son or pick him up or something, but because she's not gonna be able to leave for a bit. And, he he investigates more like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" Like, but that was cut, so it's not,
Mm.
like, known or whatever, but, um, I thought that was interesting because if they had the way they left it, neither of them were seeking help.
No,
Robbie hasn't really sought
that's
help. Even his
very
most, like,
true.
close friend is telling him,
I know,
like,
it's
"I don't."
pretty bad if that guy's telling him, like, "Come on."
But the way we're left with her, we don't see that her calling anybody. We do see her stop, but that seems as much
Mhm.
about possibility of potentially hurting someone else
Yep.
as it is anything about seeking further help or making a notice. So I think it's interesting that they cut that scene, and they might not have cut it for that reason, but because it leaves us with both of them in a state of
Yeah,
like, what
you're
are they,
left hanging, you don't know what's going on.
no idea what's going on, no idea what they're gonna do. Um, yeah.
Because I would have thought, since he found out about, well, she told him about the seizures, I had assumed he wouldn't go because he has to take care of the ER, right?
Yeah.
But he kept saying, "I'm going, I'm going, I'm going, I'm going," and then he ends up with hanging out with the baby. I was like, "What's happening?"
Well,
What?
because I think Dana had asked him, because I think people in the ER can serve as, like, emergency, take a baby on an emergency basis.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I think that's what she says. And, he had said, "No, no, I'm going on my trip."
Mm,
But when they left us where he's hanging out with the baby,
mhm.
I'm like, I'm wondering if Robbie does take a sabbatical, but what that sabbatical is taking charge of this baby. And I wonder if what we come into next
Mm.
year is the mama of the baby comes back, because family court normally lends itself to reuniting families, supposedly. And if
Is
Robbie gets his baby and then his baby's taken away.
is there gonna be a season 3?
As popular as this is and as many Emmys as it was won, I'd be surprised if there isn't.
They haven't
And no,
announced it, though.
I haven't been on the lookout for it, but no, I haven't seen an announcement
Mm.
for it. But I mean, Noah Wiley was this longest serving um, actor on ER. He was on it
Was
from the
he?
beginning to the end, I believe, yeah.
God, didn't that show go on forever? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
at the
wasn't
end, weren't people like, "Please stop this show"?
well, it wasn't quite SVU or Law& and Order, but I think it lasted quite a few seasons. Yeah.
Like, wasn't it like 20 years or something? Or that was that Grey's Anatomy? I don't know. I don't watch
Well,
these
Grey's Anatomy
shows
is
because
still on.
it's oh my lord.
Grey's Anatomy is still on. Let's see how long. You know what I loved? So I followed Noah Wyle from ER to this, but I watched the original comedy ER that had George Clooney on it.
There was a comedy?
Hmm. And it had a Vietnamese like receptionist who would be like, stand behind the line, behind the line.
Really?
Yeah. You never saw that?
No.
Oh,
I
you
thought
weren't.
George Clooney was in the original ER.
He was, but there was a
There was
comedy version
another.
of
Oh, I
ER.
didn't know
So it
that.
was also called ER. It had Elliot Gould was the main actor
Oh yeah.
on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
weird.
the
Okay.
woman from Dances with Wolves and Battlestar Galactica, I'm blanking on her name. Um, but yeah, George Clooney was on that as I, I think he was I want to say like a medical assistant or something because he wasn't a nurse and he wasn't a doctor. But let's see, 331 episodes, 15 seasons.
Oh, okay. Not quite 20
So
years.
not quite. And yes, Noah Wyle was in the last episode.
I'm gonna say a shout out to Noah Wyle because he did the ER thing for a while, and then he kinda disappeared, and then he had this goofy show called The Librarians, and I'm
Love the
embarrassed to
librarian.
say that I did watch a few episodes of that, and it
Wait,
was such a goofy ass show.
did you?
Um,
I'll finish.
then when he came out with the Pit thing, and I never watched the Pit on like, on my own. I wasn't like, "Oh, I've gotta see it," partly because it was Noah Wyle, and I remembered the goofy librarian show. But then now having watched The Pit and seen him act, he's quite good. I'm a little embarrassed for him with the librarian show, but you gotta do what you gotta do to feed yourself, I suppose. I mean,
He
that was
was
pretty
also
goofy.
he was also in Leverage. So the reboot of Leverage.
Oh, no, I
Did
don't
you
know
ever watch
that.
Leverage?
No.
He was in the reboot of Leverage as well. And I loved the librarian show. I watched the whole thing.
Did you? Was that more than 1 season?
Yeah.
Really? It
Yeah.
was popular?
I don't know if it was popular because it wasn't on
Not
sort of a
network show, was
named
it?
network. Well, it was on like TNT or TBS, one
I
of
don't know.
those.
I don't know how I found it.
Well, it was on Prime not too long ago, and it's been on a few of the like
It's pretty goofy.
it is. I'm
So
like,
imagine my surprise when he's in the pit and he's actually acting. So you just never know. Sorry, Mr. Wiley.
internet movie. Oh my god. What is going on here? I'm literally trying to find this original ER show. And George Clooney's IMDb goes back to 2002. I'm like,
Okay.
no, he was on The Facts of
No.
Life.
Oh, yeah.
Or he was on
Yeah.
before he was on Comedy ER, which was before he was on like network primetime ER. So
Okay.
long before. Anyways, um, so yes, Noah Wyle. I did see him on the reboot of Leverage. I have big memories of him being able to act even on what we call primetime ER. But I only watched that show really during its, like, an initial few seasons, kinda like with Grey's Anatomy. I watched, like, maybe the first 3 seasons, 4 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. Kinda had done something similar with ER. I might have made it to season 5, um, where I the longer running ones, I'm not one of those people who watches them
I
all
never
the way
saw
through.
Grey's Anatomy. But I have to say, my only exposure to Noah Wiley is The Librarians.
Yes,
So you
then
can see my how skeptical I would be when he's in this show.
yeah. If you'd only ever seen him on The Librarians, which is actually a little bit more comedy than it is. I mean, not saying it
Is
doesn't have a serious
campy.
moment, but it's much more campy,
Yeah,
much
it's
more
campy.
comedy. Yeah.
So I was a little bit shocked he was in this show, but I see why, Mr. Wiley, you are in this show. Very good job.
And the thing is, there's probably a whole slew of people who watched ER through its 15 seasons
Mhm.
and saw
Yes,
him
I think
throughout
so.
that, who
Yep,
came to see him run his own ER,
yep,
like, um,
yeah.
because, on the original one, it's hard to say original, on ER Primetime, I mean, he was the medical student originally, and I he doesn't he from what I recall of the character of Carter, which I have not gone back to look at this, Carter came from a bit of privilege. So he wasn't Whitaker exactly, maybe a little bit of Santos, but I don't remember him being sarcastic and mean like that. Um,
I like
so
Whitaker. He's the the guy, right? The farm
the farm
boy,
boy, yeah.
Huckleberry.
Huckleberry,
He's
as Santos
British.
calls him.
He's
Yes,
British.
he is. He is
I didn't
British.
realize I saw something on my Instagram and he's speaking and it's British. I was
Yep.
like, "No, Huckleberry,
Yes.
talk Nebraska." So, yeah, I was
Yeah.
a bit surprised by that.
He's a Brit.
Mm.
Um, I've seen both Noah Wiley and I wish I have to look this up. The woman who plays Dana, the actress who plays Dana,
Mhm.
she is, both her and Noah Wiley were interviewed separately, but they
Mm.
both talked about an actor who constantly thinks, or maybe one of them was asked. There's an actor who always thinks he's getting fired, which is what I think Noah Wiley said. There's an actor who always thinks, and I think somebody asked her who that was, and she's like, "Oh, that's Patrick," who I believe is the guy who plays Frank Langdon,
Oh,
who he
the
just constantly
drug
assumes
addict
that he's
guy.
out. Yeah. He just assumes, "Oh, that's the end of me. I'm done." Like,
Yeah. I like that storyline in season 1. That was very good.
I liked there's another person who is finding ways to deal with whatever it is they're going through. Um, and in season 2, you see where he's gotten help.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's all cured, but where he is actively working the
Mhm.
steps, getting help, doing better.
Yep.
And it's very juxtaposed against, like, Robbie, who is not. Robbie
Yeah.
may not be a drug addict, but he's an addict of another kind in the sense of negating his need for help.
There was a really good scene with Langdon, and I feel like it was that, African American the night shift doctor we were talking about, and he
Okay.
was having, like, a little whinge, and then she said something to him. I don't know if it was her or Dana. Someone said to him, uh, "Robbie's upset, not that with the situation, but he's more upset at himself for not having helped you sooner. And then
Well, for not
Langdon
having
was like,
noticed that you needed help.
yeah, and then Langdon was like, "Hmm?" I
Mhm.
feel like it was her, that
I
doctor,
think it was
who
Dr.
said it.
Ellis.
Yeah,
I have a recollection of it being Ellis.
yeah.
Um,
I like that scene, that was quite a good scene.
and it just really the actress who plays charge nurse Dana is Catherine Lanassa. I just really wanted to, like, because we know Noah Wiley's name. I just wanna know hers as well. Because to me,
I saw
she's
her on the Colbert a clip on the Colbert Show, and
Uh-huh.
she was like, last year or the year before she got the pitch, she had cancer and she had been unemployed, and Um, I guess she had watched Colbert, and Colbert had said something inspiring or something. So anyway, but she said, "You just never know," because what she had been doing was questioning what she had done wrong to be in that situation, and then whatever Colbert had said on his show, um, she was like, I think it's sometimes things happen. It's not your fault. You can't control a bad situation, and you just have to keep pushing through. And she
but
said,
that
"Look at me now."
yeah, but that also brings up themes that you and I have talked about before, which is the healthcare or lack of healthcare system in this country. Because even people who are part of the union, so like the Screen Actors Guild,
Mhm.
they have to work a certain number of hours or jobs or something in order to qualify
Oh.
for their health insurance. The reason her not
Oh.
working for so long could be an issue is that she literally could lose her health insurance, like, depending on where she's
Oh.
at. So, for example, I believe this was something that happened. Did you ever watch The Cosby Show?
Yes.
So, the oldest daughter, Sandra, was married to
Yes.
Melvin.
Yes,
So, the actor who
yes.
played her husband had gone
Mhm.
through something like that, where he had
Oh.
not been hired, he had not been worked, and he was working as, like, a bagger or something, and somebody tried to, like, um, I don't know, like I don't know if they were trying to embarrass him or trying to embarrass all the people who made so much money off The Cosby Show, but it had made the rounds at one point that he was working in, like, a grocery store.
Mm.
And so people started hiring him, and so now I think you'll see him in stuff,
Oh, I
but,
see.
I believe part of the reason he went to work in a grocery store is he didn't have health insurance because he hadn't worked enough hours.
Oh.
Same thing happened with the guy who played Short Round
Oh,
in
yeah.
Temple of Doom,
And look at him
and then
now.
then he was in The Goonies, but he had a similar situation where here's
Mm.
2 people who at one point in their life were famous enough that, people would recognize them on the street,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they both went into these periods. I think the guy who played Short Round never lost his, but I think he was, like, skin of his teeth away from it.
I saw, an interview with a clip from an interview with Noah Wiley. I don't know who he was talking to. So, but he was saying, yeah, it's about burnout and, stuff like that. And then, the interviewer said, "What about that scene with Joy? Joy? The Asian
Mhm.
in season 2, and she
Oh,
just
I love
left.
her.
She just
Oh,
left." And Noah Wiley was, "Yeah, yeah." He said, "People have been really talking about that scene, and it's really about she was finished. That was the end of her shift. Everyone else lingers, and she left."
she was doing proper self-care
Boundaries, self-care.
because when
Yep.
here's the hardest thing is that for folks who go into a lot of these professions, I would say so often they are people who truly care about taking care of other people.
Mhm.
And the idea of leaving folks who might need you is almost anathema to the very core of who they are. But this is why one of the biggest learnings that I recall getting in energy healing school, and that is one of the reasons I like working with people who I call it being a healer for the healers,
Mhm.
is that one of the things that I talk to people about is, so often you hear you can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You cannot work yourself to the point where you've got nothing to give, where you haven't slept, because then you ultimately end up hurting more. So out of everybody there, Joy was the person who did what you needed to do.
It was shocking though, wasn't it? Because that annoying guy, that guy annoys me, the tall one. And he was
Yeah.
like, "Where are you going?" And she's like, "I'm going home." And then but everyone else is still there because 'cause they're lingering around exactly for the reason you said, they care. But she is
And
the only one that has a bit of common sense.
and I think they showed us on more than one occasion that in a lot of ways she's the most intelligent person.
Mm.
Like, the young prodigy, her mom's
Oh, yes.
I'm looking at names because 'cause I'm like,
Javari,
Shaba
Javari, something. I kept thinking they were saying Giovanni, but it's something like that, but it's not Giovanni.
Victoria Javadi.
Javadi. Okay.
The thing with her is I think that my impression is, like, she says that she went to college at 13, so that's why she lived at
Yeah.
home while she
Yeah.
went to school, and now she's in medical school, and in that first season, she's 20, so she's 21 in season 2, like, she's obviously a lot younger than
Yeah.
most medical
It's her
students.
birthday. Yeah.
She was born on the 4th of July.
She
No.
they were planning her birthday on season 2,
Yeah,
so she was almost 21.
almost 21. Um, but the difference I see with Joy is I feel like maybe Joy, whether it was her parents or just her own, stayed with her age group, is incredible. Like, she's got a eidetic memory, but I know that that scene sparks a lot of conversation, but to me, I'm like, that's the example you need to follow
Yes,
because
exactly.
the hospital needs to staff sufficiently. It's why I firmly believe we need Medicaid for all in this country. And I say Medicaid, not Medicare, because Medicare has a huge hole when it comes to prescription medications. It has holes when it comes to, like, at-home caregiving, when it comes to, like, needing care in, like, a facility, uh, but Medicaid includes normally vision, dental, like, all these, and
Mm.
medicine,
Mhm,
and that's
mhm.
why I say Medicaid for all as opposed to Medicare for all. I know that Medicare for all was used as sort of this easy thing, but I've come to understand more about Medicare, and so that's not the term I will use. Medicaid.
'Kay.
Oh, did you know that the guy that plays, Nurse Jessie is an actual nurse?
Yes.
Yeah. I
ER,
thought that was
yes.
really cool.
The guy
Yeah, he's
taken by ICE.
yes, the guy Taken by Ice, who and he's also was in a band or is in a band. I was like, "These people
Mm.
do so many different things." I'm remembering another reason I liked season 1 is I felt like we got to see a little bit more what the social worker could
Yes.
do, couldn't
Yeah,
do.
they changed the social worker, didn't they? Season 1 and 2.
Yeah, but I think we
Yeah.
also got to see the psychiatrist in season 2.
I don't know. I don't know
The
who's who,
guy in
but
the wheelchair, I believe, is a psychiatrist.
oh, because he does have a doctor sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
he's a
right.
psychiatrist, but there was another male social worker.
Oh, I
I don't
remember the
recall us
lady. She was
yeah,
social
no,
Kiara or something like that.
Kiara. But did we see Kiara in season 2? I don't
No,
recall
that's why
seeing her,
I thought he replaced her, but that wouldn't
but
be
he's a
right.
psychiatrist, and having
Mm.
a white male psychiatrist is very much on point because that I did do research on.
He is
But the other
disabled.
he's actually also on, The Lincoln Lawyer.
Is he?
Yeah. Did you watch The Lincoln Lawyer? You know
Yes.
the guy in the wheelchair who's the grifter?
I can't remember. I
Have you
don't
seen season
I
4
don't know.
or the
I'm
start of season
halfway through season 4.
the guy who's in the trunk that's been killed?
I don't know.
Just telling you,
Yeah,
same actor.
okay.
Ah, the other person that I really liked seeing, that I felt like we got to hear a bit more from, though maybe just in a different capacity because of what happens in season 1, is Lupe Perez, one of the administrative assistants, the one who's sitting behind the glass.
Oh,
And
yeah, she's more, yeah,
I feel like you got to see more of her in season
active
1.
in oh, I thought she was more active in season 2. I saw her more in season 2. But
But that's the whole thing about watching them, like, to do it justice, and, like, we'd probably have to review after each episode. Maybe we can do that when if they come back for season 3, we can do our it doesn't have to
yes,
be
yes.
long, we can just do our mini conversation about, like, what we noticed in this episode.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it's hard to look back on 2 seasons, isn't it? Because everything kind of there's so much that's happening, and I remember it's the obviously, it's a medical show, so it's the goriness of it was quite profound, but at the same time, I think for me, it's the emotions coming through this show. It's an emotional topsy-turvy each episode. It's, uh, it's exhausting.
it
And
is,
to watch Robbie descend, it's just like you wanna shake him and just be like, "Stop."
and I
Ah,
think
poor
one of the
guy.
things that made the shake and stop so much more severe for me is that the other thing I noticed was in season 1, found myself and my mom laughing more. Whether it was you're laughing kind of like somebody have slipped and fell, that happens. It's the I don't know if he's an actual journalist, but somebody who comes in and pretends to be hurt and uses
Yeah,
his phone to
yeah,
take
I
pictures,
remember that.
or whether
Mhm.
it's Santos being mean, or it's them, like, betting on the ambulance that was
Yes.
stolen. I just feel like there are more moments that I found myself that there was humor. Whether Whitaker when he's dancing and, like, does not hear Santos at all, and then he's, like, trying to get dressed kind of thing. I just felt like there were so many more little moments of humor.
That's why I think for me, season 2 was heavier, and,
Mhm.
it was dominated by Robbie's descent, and it exactly why what you're saying. There were lighter moments in season 1 to help us maybe get to know them or whatever, but, I mean, season 2, they could have lightened it up a little bit, but I guess maybe they couldn't because you are actually watching someone spiral,
But
so
I feel like the deeper you wanna go, if you wanna take the audience with you in a way where they wanna come back, um, I think you need to find moments of humor to balance some of that. Because I didn't come away from season 1 less invested in the characters or the trauma that they've experienced or even like, I felt like I still really felt for these people,
Mhm.
but I could do it and still find some humor. Well,
Yeah.
even things like I loved the fact that you have Becca, Mel's sister, she's having a full
Oh,
relationship. To
that was
me,
cute.
this was another example of how these folks working in the ER may not have full lives. Like, her sister has a boyfriend, she's having regular sex. My impression is Mel's having none of that.
Oh,
She's got
no.
none of that
Her
going on. She's
whole
got her
life
sister.
is dedicated to her sister or the ER. That's it.
Yeah, and we saw that with, ugh, the other why can't I remember people's names? The other woman who there was Langdon and the other resident, Samira
Oh,
Mohan,
Samira, she's got some issues, isn't it?
Slow-mo, as she was unfairly called, because I
And
actually
they're
really
like,
like
"You should go in a geriatrics fellowship."
that
She's
was
like,
Robbie being an
"What?
ass. Not
What?" But
wrong,
no,
but still,
it wasn't just him. It was multiple people told her, and it was
because
all at different times.
she's really good at getting to know the patients and finding out what's going on
I
with
don't think
them.
he was being mean. I think he was genuinely trying to show her she has a talent for connecting with people.
Yes, but she also did an amazing job with the woman who came in with sickle cell, who was
Yep.
not geriatric, like, she also did incredibly well with the gal who, was getting mercury in, um, her skincare.
Yes. Yep. But
Do you know what
I
I mean?
don't
Like,
think he was being mean because that Dr. Al lady,
Alice
she also told her. So, um,
I
maybe
maybe t
it may be hard to decipher when Robbie's being helpful or mean in season 2 because he's so
it's
far gone.
yeah, and maybe I think Dr. Mohan might have had some of this too, is she has some of the memory of how Robbie has called her on the carpet for going too slow
Yes,
over
yes,
and
he
over
was
and over again.
deriding
So that's
her.
why when
Yeah.
he's saying that, I'm hearing it through the lens of, like, everything else he's said, not
Mm.
just as in a, "Let me encourage you to go." It's like, "Let me get you out of my space because you're
Yeah,
slowing things
because he was season 1, he got called out by that, uh, other lady for doing that, riding Samira,
down." Mhm.
the one
Because
that's gone now.
yeah. But even Dana recognizes that Robbie's not so great about this, and she's like, "There's good," like, in season 1, she's like, "Hey, there's good, what is it? Your surveys, patient
Customer
surveys."
surveys. Mhm,
Yeah.
customer satisfaction.
Actions. There's your good customer satisfaction score. Let it be, kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with Samira. She seems to be well, first of all, she's late with all her applications, clearly. So I don't know what is going on there. I think she's
Well,
having some decision-making issues.
she had done applications for the New Jersey area. I don't know exactly where, but, like, where her mom, like, where she's from, because her plan had been to go back and
Yes.
live in her home with her mom, because her mom is on her own,
Yep.
because she lost her dad when she was young, and so she was like, "Okay, I've made it through. I'm now gonna be a
Mm,
resident. I'm gonna go do that close to home," and then her mom's like, "Oh, I sold the house. I'm going on a world tour or whatever with my new husband." And
that's
so she
right.
doesn't have a place to go back to. She's having if she wants to stay where she's at now, she has to apply.
Oh,
And that's why
that's
she
why she was doing last minute.
'cause she doesn't have a place to live and sorry, living anywhere in that New Jersey, New York, even Lower Connecticut area is mighty expensive. And I'm imagining a lot of these I imagine Whitaker isn't the only person who's got student loans they have to worry about.
Yeah. I wonder
And
what's
why
gonna
does she want if
happen.
she doesn't have her mom there, why not stay where she does have
Say she's not coming back
No,
season 3. I thought you said she's not coming back season 3.
no, I have no idea. I know nothing about season 3. I haven't even seen anything about
Hmm.
conversation about it. Somebody else I like is Dr. Garcia. I haven't
Garcia? Who's that?
she's the surgical, um, she's
Oh,
like the equivalent of
her.
Langdon. Yeah, the one that Santos has a of friends with
Yeah.
relationship.
Friends with benefits situation.
But that's even after Santos's first day when she asked Santos for advice, and Santos was
She's
like,
kind of
"Oh,
mean.
don't go there.
She's kind of mean. That lady's
She's a
scary to
surgeon."
me. Scary.
That's
I
the other
like
thing.
how she swoops in though. Like, when they're all working on someone and then she swoops in and she makes these like little comments. And I think that's funny. But I don't like her beyond that, really.
For me, what's interesting, having been with my mom, is, for example, the neuro I don't know if he's a neurosurgeon, the neurologist who makes the essentially what I think of as dad jokes.
Yes, he does.
So, my mom had to see a neurologist, and what struck me was there was a similar vibe. He wasn't making jokes
Oh.
with me as the patient, or I mean, my mom as the patient or anything like that, but there was a very similar vibe.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and my mom had her hip replaced, so, we had to see
Mm.
a surgeon. And I don't know what these people are like with their peers or their friends. I'm in there as like the daughter of their patient, so but again, similar vibe in terms of like there's an
Oh,
aspect to the
okay.
surgery. Like I had surgery at one point on my knee. And again, there's a vibe that surgeons have that both Santos and the guy who was her resident or attending, I think he might have been her attending. And we only got to see him very briefly, so I don't even know how much, but there's a vibe that they brought in that was similar. Now, I don't know. I've seen enough
Oh,
ER.
but Jabadi's mom, she's the head of surgery, right? So she's
Yeah,
surgery because she's
I think
trying to
she's
get her
general
daughter into
surgery.
surgery with her.
Yeah. Mhm.
So they're all kind of the same.
And if you notice, all of the surgeons, there is an attitude with them.
Yes, there is an attitude. Yep.
And you never watched Grey's Anatomy, but if you had, I would have said, think Christina Yang, the Smithy on Grey's Anatomy. But you never
Mhm.
watched it, so I can't. For those of you out there who watched Grey's Anatomy, Christina Yang to me had a very typical surgeon's kind of attitude, but Bailey's not that far off, and she ends up being the head of. But there's an attitude, a vibe, so to speak,
They're
that
known
they.
for that though, aren't they? Surgeons.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
know how accurate it is or not. I can
Must be
say,
somewhat accurate because a lot of the British shows also show surgeons with that
well, I mean,
vibe.
and I think that there is a similar vibe that you see with emergency medicine people, where they're
Mm.
often shown to or talked about as being sort of the cowboys or the MacGyvers of the medical profession. Like they'll do shit that it's like, you can't do this. Like, we can't do this. It's not sterile. You haven't gotten a 10 name, like whatever. And it's like Santos has a very emergency medicine.
Yeah, she
Vibe.
she is.
I know she wants to go into surgery, but her vibe of like, I know what I'm doing. I got it. It's sort of like baby Abbott.
Mm.
Because I mean, Abbott actually did MASH units. Like when they're preparing after the shooting, he's like setting up a MASH unit. He was in Afghanistan, and I think one time later.
Uh, well, you mean the mass cas?
Mhm.
I have participated in that stuff, not as medical, but in a medical environment. I was like the side person, one of the side people.
Were you like
But
helping them practice for one?
yeah, we had to do mass cas in East Timor because I worked at the hospital on the base. So we had to practice, and they would do surprise practices. That was fun. And then we actually had a real one. Well, it was real, but it was when the president was shot and he came over, but that wasn't it ended up just being him, wasn't like a mass cast situation. So I'm very familiar with the mass cast exercises. So when he was setting up the triage outside and the colors and the, make uh, colors on
The
the
South, yes.
people. Yeah. I mean, we didn't use that, but similar, the concept is all the same. So yeah, interesting. I like Dr. Abbott. He's from that show, that police show I
Southland.
liked. That's it. I couldn't think of the show, and I'm like, I'm writing you, and I'm like, the
I knew
LA
exactly what show.
police show, South Central? Couldn't remember. Southland. That's it.
So
I like that show.
I Southland, I think I've seen, if I saw 5 episodes, it'd be a lot. I think
Really?
I've
I
seen maybe
liked
3
it
or
a
4,
lot. I
but
liked it
I
a
followed
lot.
it because I followed Mackenzie, Benjamin Mackenzie from the OC to Southland.
Oh, he turns a little bit shady in Southland. But this guy, Abbott, because it was like Mackenzie's like up here on the show, and here is Abbott on
Mhm.
South Central. I don't know why I keep saying South Central.
Southland.
And then the show progresses, and like it, their characters go, like Mackenzie goes shady, 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 and then he goes higher in integrity for me, and then it
Gotcha.
ended like that. So
Hmm. It might
mm,
get me to watch it again.
I
I
like
go
it.
through phases. Like, I'm right now, I was okay with the Pit, but at the time that I started Southland, there was too much violence,
Oh yes.
whether talked about or depicted, and I just wasn't in a space
Oh
to
yes.
watch
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And so that's what it wasn't a lack of, like, yeah, I go through phases where I can,
It's very well done, and
yeah.
in with the different threads of the different that don't necessarily cross, but you can still follow it quite seamlessly. And there's that very good actress, isn't it? African American actress. Oh, can't remember her name, but
Is it Regina
she's
King?
yes, Regina King is in it. I mean, she's a star power, right? So she was in
Yes.
it. Oh, but yes, that's how I know Abbott. So when I saw him first on season 1, I was like, "Oh, hello." And then he gets even better.
Well, you and
I'm
a lot of
crushing
you,
on Dr. Abbott.
I don't know if you know this, but there seems to be a whole slew of people crushing on Dr. Abbott
Oh,
on
competition.
social media.
Love
So,
it.
there's the crushing on Abbott. There's
Mm.
also, I have not delved into this, but there's a whole, slew of fan fictions that have come
Oh.
out, and there is a social media, I don't think it's a full-blown effort yet, but there's an effort for a night shift Pitt spinoff.
Oh, with Dr. Abbott?
Yeah, they want Abbott and Chen and Ellis, they want the night shift.
I don't
And,
care about
um
Chen, but I like the lady and I
oh,
like
I like
Abbott.
Chen. Oh, I like Chen too.
Really? He's kind of
Yeah,
vanilla to me.
he is, but sometimes I like a little vanilla.
Mm,
Everybody else is a little too angsty all the time. Here's
true.
when I really liked him, was when Robbie is trying to make sure he's ready to go for the triage, and this is
Yeah.
where I'm like, this is all of these doctors have ADHD,
Mm.
including Robbie. They all do, because he's totally, like, cool. He's drinking his, I don't know if it's Dunkin' or whatever, but he's drinking his iced coffee. Just, yeah. And he's cool as a cucumber. That is when I was like, "Yes."
That's the only time he had a personality. That's it.
Well, they need to give him something more to do.
He has
Like,
no personality.
I don't
I'm
think that's the
sorry,
actor's
and
fault.
I wish he did because he's Asian, but
Mhm.
no,
Well,
there's
I
no
think they need to
personality
give him
there.
more of a personality, and maybe if they did a night shift spinoff, we'd get more of one. But the other person who'd be on night shift is my favorite Pit meme that I've run across, is he's pretty young. He's a young resident. He and Chen, I think, might be of the same class in the same class.
Hmm.
You only see him on season 2. He's
Oh.
African American, and the meme I've
Oh,
seen,
yes!
he has the gap in his teeth.
Oh, I don't remember that. I
Oh,
remember
anyways.
him.
Okay. He is also the youngest teacher on Abbott Elementary, which takes place in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
And my favorite meme is literally somebody going, "Now, I know teachers don't get paid a lot, but you gotta go and do the night shift as a doctor?" Because both things take place in Pittsburgh.
Yes, I like him, and he has more personality than that Chen guy, and he's hasn't even been on long. Something about Chen.
I think they need to just write
I
Chen
don't
some
know.
better material.
Maybe.
Because even when it comes to Dr. Kwan, that's Joy,
Yes.
at first, I mean, other than the eye rolls that I felt like she was doing for in relation to Ogilvy, I didn't feel like they gave her a lot at first.
No, she had
You know?
nothing to say. There was nothing happening with that character.
And so I'm like, maybe he needs more time, like maybe the people
Mm.
who are writing Asian characters um aren't quite sure what to do with the ones who are doctors. They seem to have worked out a bit what's happening with the nurses, but
Maybe they're keeping their powder dry.
maybe, maybe. I don't know.
So we're
But
not overwhelmed with too many storylines coming at us.
but yeah, night shift.
Oh, I would be happy to watch that if Dr. Abbott is the attending. Oh,
Well,
so when
he
I
is.
first started watching, I had to Google what the heck all these titles meant.
Oh,
Attending,
attending and
resident,
resident
and all that stuff because
and student,
I don't
R1 and R2.
understand that world. So I had a little uh, Google sheet to read who these people are hierarchically.
The ones that confused me a little bit were, for example, Mel has already is at a different Mel and Whitaker are actually at a different level
Yes.
than like Santos and Javati. I understood that Javati was still in like what they consider actual medical school. I think they're all technically considered a medical school, but I understood that she wasn't quite there. But I did not understand the difference Santos, Whitaker, and Mel.
I thought they're all finished with medical school. So now they're doing their training. Isn't that what
Well,
the interns are? Everyone's finished the
Javati is not finished.
coursework. Oh,
Javati is not. That's why she says she's an M1. Somebody else is an R2. Like
oh,
it's different levels of medical school. And they're
oh.
not
But it's
done
the
done.
schoolwork is done though. This is the actual
I don't think I
practice,
could be
right?
wrong, but my impression was Javati was not completely done with the school part.
Oh,
Like they do practicals even while they're
yeah.
in school.
Because they rotate, right? The different
Yes. And that's where
specialties.
Whitaker and Mel and Santos are, but Santos, I think this was her first one. And
Oh,
for Mel and Whitaker, it was I don't know if I know by the time we get to season 2, Whitaker has finished his rotations and he now becomes a resident. He's like what Chen was in season 1, where he's a brand new resident.
oh. Because what's her name? Mel or Mal?
Mel.
Mal?
Mel. Mel. Mel.
Mel.
Like
When
Melanie. Mel.
when Mel started in season 1, because that was her first day, and Robbie
But she came from the
welcomed
VA.
her welcomed her
Mhm.
differently. So she must have applied to be there or something. She's the highest ranking of all of that gaggle because she's a different beast, right? Like a different
Yeah.
level.
Dr. King. Melissa King.
Yeah, King. I need the King.
Yeah.
Melissa.
Melissa.
Oh.
She's Dr. Melissa King. But, yeah, I believe she was, like, just about to be maybe a resident. She came from, Veterans Affairs. She had just done a rotation in Veterans Affairs. Not Veterans Affairs, Veterans Hospital. And then by season 2, Whitaker gets his actual one that says doctor, not student doctor. So
Yes.
he's full on
Which
doctor.
that guy took. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Whitaker. Though he killed the rat.
Yes, he did. With his hands.
Mhm.
Huckleberry.
The farm boy. And I loved all the people who were afraid of the rat. Did I live in New York City for too long? I'm kind of like, "You over there, as long as you're not on me,
This might be
you be
different
you."
when you're in an ER. Don't think you want rats around there. I'm surprised they didn't make much of an effort to catch them. But they did say, I guess, the
Facilities.
whoever was they were busy or something.
Mhm.
So they'd have to wait. Mm.
I'm surprised we didn't see little rat paw prints through the blood during the mass cache.
I don't think they were around then, were they?
They were, and the only reason I know is because the guy who ends up slipping and falling, and then they tie him to one of the gurneys, and
Oh, yeah.
Santos dumps his phone in a bucket.
Yes, that's right. The reporter.
He ends
Well,
up with rats on him, and he's yelling about it, and then
oh, that's right. You're
people look over at
right.
him and think he's crazy because the rats have run away because he was yelling,
That's
and they don't
right.
see any rats.
That's right.
And nobody from day shift is gonna disabuse the night shift
Yeah.
people that this guy isn't crazy because they're, I guess, pissed at him.
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be there, so he deserves it, whatever.
Well, taking pictures of people in some of their worst moments, like, I understand the need to do your job and to get information. They actually showed one of those, though. The reason I can't remember, it might have been Santos. There's a girl who comes in with a fork through her nose.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Is
She
it
was
Santos
taking
who takes
photo.
or is
Yeah.
it but she says, "Can I do it for the medical record?"
Yeah.
But I'm like, "Medical record ain't gonna be on your phone?"
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, they would have a protocol for the medical record, I would think. I could be
Yeah.
wrong,
Yeah.
but so definitely enjoyed. Love the idea of a night shift spinoff, and I'd love, like, the
Yes.
crossovers that you often see on shows, because we've already seen the night shift a few times, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, I'd like to see if they let's just talk as if they're doing a season 3. See if you can
Okay.
bring some of the humor back.
Mhm.
See if our Asian doctors and, maybe I should say our East Asian doctors, like, or
Mhm.
East Asian American doctors can have a bit more personality. Um, like and let's see the support staff again. The people who clean, the administrative people, I like when we get to see the security people and, like, just
Mm. Mhm.
let's see some of the cafeteria people. I don't know, they have to bring the food down because they do that. They bring food to the to the ER. Like,
Yeah.
I like seeing I mean, I'm not saying that you have to have every one of these people with a speaking part, but you're essentially trying to do a full day, right? So, show us the rest of it, like, show us. I
The
do
gift
like how
shop
they
people.
show the waiting room, having been in one of those a number
Yeah.
of times. So
Mm.
I've been to the one in Hartford that's, like, probably I don't know if it's equivalent to the Pitt, but, like, your primary trauma 1 center. Like, to the point where somebody told me, "Oh, yeah, we're a trauma 1 center." we get stuff all up and down I-91.
Oh,
So
wow.
they're not just getting the Hartford County people, they get
Yeah.
stuff coming from other parts. And I've seen, I mean, the waiting room is, I think a little bit bigger, and there's, like, space, a little bit more space, but I've seen it that packed, where I was going to spell my sister, it was summertime. I was going to spell my sister, and, there was no place to sit. Like, I pulled up a wall. I at least had a wall to lean
Mm.
against for a little while until they could, um, because they wanted only one person back there at a time kind of thing, so I had to wait till my sister came
Oh,
out,
right, right, right.
and, I've seen it that busy in the summer. They did have better air conditioning, I think, though, than the Pit did.
That one, the pit one looks quite kind of like old, like an
Cramped.
old building and very cramped. I've never been to really an ER. My dad had to get taken, but we came in the back because it was by ambulance, so
Yeah.
we just went straight in. So I don't know what the actual waiting room looked like, but I know it's a brand new uh hospital near us, so it was nothing like theirs, Pitts.
I have been to an older building hospital
Mm.
in the Hartford area, but even though they didn't have a proper waiting room. They had
Oh,
what looked like long arm hallways and some chairs there, as opposed to, like, that room that feels almost claustrophobic. That room is
oh,
a little
okay.
bit more similar to the more newish hospital one that I've had to go to, that I told
Mm.
you I had to pull up a wall. Um, that one has more of that feel, except the one that I go to has windows along one wall. So
Oh,
I think it
it's a
helps
bit better. Yeah.
feel a little less, I think it may be a
Yeah.
similar size, but it's windows out to the outside as opposed to a
Mm.
hallway kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I've sat there before where I had to wait until they could tell me where my mom was.
Mhm.
Um, so not spelling my sister, um, and it was, somewhat empty, but seeing
Hmm.
people who, it was fall, and people being discharged who are homeless and people who obviously need help,
Mm.
but we don't have systems in place to and this is not on a single hospital, a single state, like, I'm just like, it was really obvious that there were more systemic supports needed.
But I mean, at the ER, they're quite good in this show with bringing in the social services side to it. Um, and
I
I did lie. I have been to an ER in Seattle because I had a coworker who went schizophrenic, and I convinced her to go. Um, she was only talking to me for some reason, and when I got there to that window, I said she needs a psych evaluation, and they did it right very quickly. It's actually quite soon. So that is my experience with the ER, and thank God for the social worker. Holy crap! I was just like, thank you, and then she agreed to go in uh, for a few days. So I was
That's
like,
good.
I love the ER.
I, did an informational kind of interview with a woman who, she's not an emergency room social worker, but she does work with them on occasion. This hospital has social workers that are attached to each of, like, the specialties. So she's actually the pulmonary social worker.
Oh, okay.
And, but she talked about even for that, people who will be in the hospital for 3 days
Mhm.
and they have to be discharged because medically there isn't a reason to keep them, but there's no place for them to go.
Mm,
Like, and even in her auspices of trying to find help for them, there isn't enough. And so
mm,
she's part of what she was saying is like, even when you're not just talking emergency room, even when you're talking about, people have Medicare or they may even have Medicaid, but those things don't cover all aspects of living. So you need to understand that if you're going to be what they call a medical social worker, you're going to have to, and she didn't say it exactly this way, but what I took away is you're going to have to find a way to be able to kind of thread the needle of being a social worker who wants to find solutions for
mhm.
someone. There are no solutions. And there
Oh.
will be moments where you have to discharge someone. Like you're the final step, but you're discharging them to the streets.
And I think the show does a good job with that because it shows
Yeah.
the people, the all the medical staff, nurses, doctors, everybody, social workers, everyone knows that. And so they do a good job kind of showing the acrobatics that they all do to try to work the system
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
help as far as they can take it. And I think they do pretty good job with that.
And they showed season one, they talked about the street team. And
Yes.
Kiara
Yes.
is really excited that Whitaker wants to be a part of it. And then in season 2, you see McKay not supposed to be on the street team in that moment. I mean, she's part of the street team, but in that moment, she's not supposed to. But her patient needs help,
And she took
you know?
Ogilvy,
Yeah.
who was, like, semi-horrified by the entire situation. But then he might join it, actually.
And I think some of that was that Ogilvy had a lot of the knowledge parts.
Mhm.
But I feel like in some ways, Ogilvy strikes me as somebody on the spectrum,
Mm.
and that he's missing. And not everybody, because there are people on the spectrum. We get to see it with, I think, Mel. I know her sister's on it, but I think Mel is as well. And she does
Yeah.
better with people than half the folks who are supposed to be nowhere near the spectrum, you know? So this is not everybody. That's why it's a spectrum, not a diagnosis. But Ogilvy strikes me as somebody who's missing some of those context clues of
Mhm.
when and how to talk to
Yeah.
people. And it was interesting because even in season 1, Javadi had some of that.
Yeah.
She had a few moments of, like, just stepping
I
in it.
guess that shows that they've just finished the coursework, right?
Mhm.
And they don't have that real world, you're interacting with a human
Yeah,
experience yet.
and that all the context is part of treating a human, a person. Like, it's not just what's happening with their respiration and their blood pressure and,
Yeah.
everything has an impact.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it does a beautiful job with that.
Mm.
And I understand that all the people that were missing, well, we know Collins moved to Oregon, though I missed that entirely. I didn't remember that until you mentioned it today. Um, but, like, I miss Kiara, like,
Mm.
um and probably because for me, she's a representation of somebody doing
Mhm.
some of the work I keep thinking, "Oh, I'd like to do that," and then I'm like, "Oh, would I? Would I be able to handle that?"
It's
I'd
a
like to
lot.
think I'd be a little Joy-like and be like, "I'm done. I gotta take care of me, so I'm out." But I just know myself,
Mm.
and I can be a little bit Robbie Danish. And that's even when I'm not in those roles.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
good.
No, I'm glad I watched it.
Mhm. So you're not somebody who normally watches medical shows?
No, I don't really. I don't. I don't. I just feel like it's kind of the same thing over and over again. But I did enjoy this one because I think it's the team and it's the acting, but I and the story obviously, but it's 1 hour of their life in an episode I find kind of intriguing, different. So,
I like now that we're seeing, because I'm not going and looking this up, but on social media, I'm getting shown little bits and pieces of interviews and I like when you find out like, "Oh, that person's an actual medical professional, but is acting in this scene," and I'm not just talking about the guy who plays, Nurse Jessie, I'm also there's a woman who's one of the advisors on it, one of the medical advisors, and there's several scenes, at least in season 1, that she's acting in, but I didn't know that she wasn't like, her primary thing wasn't being an actress until I saw one of these, like, extra things.
hmm. Oh,
I also like that,
interesting.
number of people have talked about the fact that they run the scripts and what's going on and even the, like, special effects and stuff by medical professionals. So
Mm,
that as much as you possibly can in this type of setting, they are being truthful to it. But I did see a social media meme, an ER nurse, she's eating and watching some of it, which I find fascinating, and she's like, "Oh, that's not that bad." Like, she's just having, like, this she's like, "Oh, that's high, but they'll be okay." Like, it's just a short clip that I saw, but it was one of the other ones that I enjoyed
mm,
of her reacting to it.
yeah.
Because just having I mean, um I remember Monira talking about when she was doing her stuff in the ER in Brooklyn, like, "I can't watch those ER shows. Like, it's fake.
Mm,
It's too fake," like, she's like, "I can't watch it. All I do is critique everything that's wrong with everything that they did," And then, like, um, Melanie talking about law shows at first, like, both when she was in law school and just graduated, she's like, "I can't watch them.
mm,
Like, they pay way too fast and loose, and it's never gonna be that fast, and, like, like, just
yeah, yeah.
when you hear from the professionals directly, about shows that show their profession,
Mhm.
so often the thing is, I can't watch it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't get the entertainment value of it,
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. So, one thing I wanna say to everyone is if you have a show that you think we might check out and talk about, please let us know. Um, I think one place where Katie and I often connect on are mystery type shows.
Yes.
She does a little bit better with the violence ones and even horror.
No,
No?
I wouldn't say I would categorize it more that's correct, but I would say I like more of the serial killer shows.
Yes, I hate serial killer shows.
That does tend to have a little bit more violence but
Yeah.
I'm watching it more for the psychology of it. But yes, it does end up being a bit gorier sometimes.
I just sent you a meme. I think it was to you today. I can't remember if it was
Oh,
TikTok or Instagram, but literally on which astrological sign is most likely or has the most serial killers. The thing about it though is this data person did not juxtapose it against which has the most births, but then Virgos have the most births, so maybe they did. But I just want to note that air signs, so she was looking at the astrologically on their element. So earth, air, water, fire.
mhm.
Air signs had 0, though I know Geminis are really up there. I was surprised that they came in at 0, but whatever it was she was looking at, air signs
Mhm.
had 0. All 3 water signs made the top 10.
With serial killers?
Mhm. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I
I
was
am
like,
not surprised by that.
"Damn." I actually was a little surprised by that, especially about Pisces. I don't know why I was so surprised about Pisces. I mean, Cancer and
I don't
Scorpio,
know.
you like, not as surprised, but Pisces I was surprised by.
I'm
And I've
not
always
surprised because those are water is more emotional. It's run on
it is.
emotions, right? And serial killers, I think, are they're stunted or something has happened on the emotional level. Serial killers on like TV, they always shows thinking and planning and plotting, but the motivation is a stunted emotional situation. It's not a true air sign who thinks he X motivates with the brain. We're going to be like, nah, not worth it or something like reason comes
Other
into
than the
it.
ones who I believe when you look at the ones who killed the most, I believe Geminis end up being so,
Really?
like, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, and for some reason, I'm thinking it's not BTS, but it's BDS?
Oh, uh, yeah, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm blanking on what the acronym is for that
Yeah,
particular
yeah.
and I think even the Green River Killer. I think they're some of the ones who've killed the most, and if I remember right, I was struck by it, being a Gemini myself, that they were Geminis.
Mm.
So they don't have maybe the greatest number of serial killers, but I think when they go down that path, they go down the path. But I haven't looked at it recently, so it could be totally off. Anyways, so we called it I Said What I Said because we each individually take responsibility for our own saying.
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much for joining us. We
Thank
will see what
you.
this looks like at the tail end of it because it went a lot longer than
Yes,
our original intention. Our intention was for this to be a short, sweet. Um,
yes,
if it hit 30 minutes, we would have been woohoo! And this has become longer than some of our long ones.
yes, it's the longest. Yes,
It's the longest ever. So if you made it this far, thank you so much. Remember to let us know if there's any show you think we should watch. And thank you for spending some time with us.